Good morning, Standard 9th. Welcome back. I hope you all enjoyed your vacations, stayed at home, and also did your studies. So let us start with our class. But before starting with today's class, let us just have a quick recapitulation of the topics that we studied before your vacations. So students, in our last class, we studied definition of constitution, that it is a set of basic rules and it is the supreme law of a country that determines relation among people living in a country and also relation between people and the government. And then we studied about few functions of constitution, such as it generates a degree of trust and coordination amongst people. Also, it specifies that how the government will be formed and what powers the government will have. The constitution also lays limits on the powers of the government so that the government doesn't become autocratic in nature, and it also specifies the rights that a country's citizens enjoy. Then the fourth function of constitution that we studied was that the constitution also expresses the aspirations of the people about creating a good society. Now students, all these functions also tell us about the importance of constitution, that why constitution is so important, is so significant in a democratic country. Now students, till here we have already discussed. So after this, there is this statement given in your book. So it says that all countries that have constitutions are not necessarily democratic, but all countries that are democratic will have constitutions. Students, as we know that a constitution is a set of rules that tell us how a country should function, and it gives structure to the country. Therefore, it is entirely possible to have a constitution that is not democratic, but is instead monarchic or of some other kind. It is not that only democratic countries can have constitution, but all democracies will have constitution. Why? To ensure that there are legal safeguards preventing democracy from turning into any other system that is less desirable than democracy. Simply put, we can say that any country can have rules, and so it can have a constitution for that. But if a country is democratic, then it is important for it to have a constitution. Why? Because in a democratic country, it is important to secure equal rights and freedom. And so therefore, a strong legal framework is needed to maintain it. Also, in democracy, there shouldn't be any monarch or dictator to give directions. Therefore, we need a constitution to give directions that how the country should be run or a government should function. I hope the meaning of this statement is clear now. And for better understanding of this statement, let us have a look at few examples. So, in the first example, there are a few countries mentioned such as India, France, USA. Now students, these are democratic countries and so they have a codified constitution, that is a written constitution. The next example is of China. Students, we have already studied about this country, that only one party rules this country and citizens don't have any real choice in elections. So clearly this is an example of an undemocratic country. But then China has a constitution. So coming back to the statement, it is written that all countries that have constitutions are not necessarily democratic. China has a constitution, but then that doesn't make this country a democratic country. Now students, we studied that all countries that are democratic will have constitutions, but there are few exceptions. For example, Britain it does not have a codified constitution, that is, it has an unwritten constitution, but still it is a democratic country. Students, a codified constitution is one that is contained in a single document. For example, if we talk about India, then there is one document in which all the rules and laws are written. Whereas an uncodified constitution is one that is not contained in a single document, but it consists of several different sources which may be written or unwritten. Students, an uncodified constitution is a constitution that is made up of rules that are found from various documents in the absence of a single document or a written constitution. So I hope this is clear to you all now. Moving ahead. Students, we have studied about South Africa, that how people there fought against apartheid system, and the party that ruled through oppression and brutal killings, and the party that led the freedom struggle sat together to draw up a common constitution. And now we will study about India, that how India got its constitution. So students, as we have already discussed that how people of South Africa went through a lot of problems and then finally they got their constitution. And just like South Africa, India's constitution was also drafted under certain difficult circumstances. Let us have a look at a few problems that our leaders faced while drafting the constitution. So the first one is the making of the constitution for such a diverse country was not an easy task. Students, we all know that India is one of the most religiously and ethnically diverse nations in the world. And we can never forget the freedom movements that were led by the people of all religions to make India an independent country. And the struggle for freedom is a great example of unity in diversity. And so at that time, while making the constitution, the first problem that the leaders faced was that how to frame a constitution that can satisfy a huge population of around 360 million people, and that too of different culture and religion. Moving ahead to the next point. Students, we know that Britishers ruled India for almost 200 years. And at that time, the people of India, they were treated as subjects and not citizens. There is a difference between these two terms. Students, the term subject means one who is under the power of another, and citizens refer to a mass of free people. So students, this was another challenge that our leaders faced while making the constitution. Because we all know that how Indians were treated by the Britishers. And the leaders had to make sure that they are able to give the people the status of citizens through this constitution. Next, point number 3. So students, after independence, we all know that there was a partition, and at that time the country did witness few violence. So this was again a difficulty because leaders had to make sure that the constitution is designed in such a manner that it can ensure prevention of any such violence in future. Also, students, because of this partition, everybody was going through a lot. We can say that they had a traumatic experience, as at least 10 lakh people were killed on both sides of the border. Next, point number 4. Students, this point is about princely states. These princely states were the areas in which Britishers had indirect control. These were ruled by local kings, but their powers were limited. And then after independence, princely states were given an option that whether they want to join India or Pakistan, or they want to remain as independent sovereign state. Now this created much confusion. Students, there were around 550 princely states, and the emergence of hundreds of independent states would have made the Indian independence pointless. And therefore, integration of princely states became a major agenda for Indian leaders. But they faced a lot of problem in doing so. Problems like there were communal riots and killings. Also, in some princely states, there were differences between the population and ruler. Suppose if the population wanted to join India, then the ruler wanted to join Pakistan. Students, the most important one is that there were so many princely states at the time of independence that negotiating with each one of them was in itself a very difficult task for the leaders. So students, these were the difficulties that our leaders faced while making the constitution, and because of these, the leaders were not very sure that the future of the country would be as secured as it is today. So that's all for today's class, students. Thank you, everyone.